right. Welcome into the Red Hot Mic. Check out the new t-shirts we got, and my co-hosts back here, Hetty Lamar, has on our new baseball cap. As the weather gets ready to change, you may want to sport some of the Red Hot Mic paraphernalia. I really would appreciate it if you would. It's another edition of the Red Hot Mic, and I am your host, Dr. G. Alfred Palmer. Come on in this house here. Welcome. You're going to see the title in a minute, but listen, I want you to know that it's time to ruminate, elevate, and to activate, gentlemen. It really is. It's getting more and more severe out there for men, because these simps, these simple intelligent-minded people, simps, they're simple-minded. Simple intelligence. It's just simple. They have not developed. It's not an insult. It's the truth. But it's the Red Hot Mic. Please subscribe, like, and share. Hit the notification bell as well. I need some help, guys. I need some help. If you're a man and you've watched the station, and you've even maybe responded to a post or a video. If it's that bad, okay. But if you could help me out, I would appreciate it, gentlemen. Ladies, women, you out there? I don't get a lot of support. I don't get a lot of support, and I guess, but we're gonna keep going because this is what I'm supposed to be doing, whether it's responded to or not. That's not the important point. The important point is doing what you're supposed to be doing. It's trying to really just something on my sleeve. Okay, so I'm excited about you coming into the house. It's lions and tigers and bears out there. Oh my! So you have to come on in this house because it's warm in here. It's warm in here. All right, so let's get started the way we normally get started, and let's do this.
In our current global climate, we're facing challenges never before experienced by this generation. Oppositions where no one seems to have clear directions or answers to the risks facing us. Confrontations like racial and gender unrest, political gerrymandering, toxic leadership, economic crisis, global pandemic, health threats, pre-existing medical conditions, isolation, boredom, and loneliness are driving people to desperation. As a result, people are confused, afraid, anxious, and perplexed, and they need answers to some tough questions and even tougher situations. They are looking into different outlets for answers to gain assurance and consolation. Some have drawn closer to the embrace of family, while others look more towards their friendships, education, and even religion. What we need is a fresh voice of truth and clarity, and not a stale religious echo from the past. There's a re-emerging voice on the horizon that isn't afraid to stand alone and give spiritual and mentally sound direction to a world searching for answers. G. Alfred Palmer offers a voice of sound human development and empowerment to those willing to hear. There's a need for new ideas to old principles, a perspective from a timeless origin, but with current vision, a thought leader who understands what it means to stand alone and speak truth when some are hard of hearing. But if you've been waiting to hear a voice that opens the gates of freedom and breaks the shackles of confusion to allow you to step forward into the dawning of a new and exciting future, then it's time to bridge the gap with Dr. G. Alfred Palmer. He is a dynamic speaker, thought leader, and entrepreneur, equipped to elevate, expand, and extend the development, empowerment, and leadership of his audiences. He stands ready to speak at your next event. His delivery is guaranteed to refresh, entertain, and transform. G. Alfred Palmer bridges the gap from uncertainty to the purpose, to passion, and leadership. Book him today for your next event, and you won't be disappointed.
All right, we're back. And you know what time it is. We do this every time we come together. In homage of Mr. Kevin Samuels and our first of our sin of the evening. Not an expensive one, Invictus. Invictus, it looks like a trophy. And it comes in a box like this. And it's Poole Rabone, however you say his name. Poole Rabone. And first time, well, actually second time, I did get this as a gift. And I haven't worn it. I think I wore it on the show once. So I'm going to give it a shot again. We're going to talk a little bit about it this time. Let's see what we got here. All right. This was introduced in 2013 for the Athletic Man, Invictus by Poole Rabone designed house. Features a clean, sporty scent designed to keep you feeling invincible through the day. This masculine scent combines the sharp, captivating aroma of grapefruit with a marine accord, reminiscent of the fresh seawater, leading to an aromatic heart of jasmine and bay leaf. This perfume or cologne spray finishes with a woodsy base of oak moss that leaves a powerful impression, perfect for the active man. I really would say this is exactly that. As I smell it, I do sense all of that which is said. I do especially sense the grapefruit, without shadow of doubt, the jasmine and the bay leaf, and the woodsy smell underneath of oak moss. Very, very. I would agree with this description. Very, very athletic scent, masculine scent. I really do like it, and I hope that you go out and get Poole Rabone, and it is Invictus. Okay, and then our candle of the evening is one that we've used several times before, and we'll probably continue to use because it's really, really good. It's a very masculine scent. It is leather and brandy. And I really do like it. As I do like the scent, our Invictus as well. Keep those right there. I wanted to say thank you for coming. Thank you for coming. I know, we have been out of pocket for a while. There's a lot going on in other areas, and I stay quite busy. But this is a priority for me, and I need to be here. I need to be doing this. So I ask that you would just bear with me as we continue to move forward. We'll continue to get better at doing some things. We have a new poster in the back. We have new T-shirts. We have new baseball caps. We have new ink pens. And we got some marketing stuff coming down the road. So come on board. We really, really appreciate it. Please, we need you to subscribe, like, share, and hit the notification bell. Underneath the screen, you'll see all our information tickering underneath the screen, so you can take advantage of any of those things. Would very much appreciate it. All right. Well, you know what we do. And the next thing we do is we come off of Kevin Samuels, and we go to our answer wheel. I really enjoy the answer wheel because what the answer wheel does is gives you the opportunity to get guidance and direction from the universe and no one else. And if that's what you can believe, then that's the important thing. Can you believe that? Some people can, and some people can't. They just think this is just another tactic or ploy. Well, if that's what you believe, then you're right. I mean, who's going to convince you otherwise, right? So it's important for you to understand what it means to you. I'm just trying to get rid of this. What does it mean to you? So what we do is we add the answer wheel, we add the screen so that you can see for yourself. Let's put a little bit more light on it so you can see a little bit better, hopefully. And move it around a little bit. There you go. And there's our new pen that I just told you about. And you can get that as well. So the answer wheel always gives us the opportunity to step off to the side and let the universe answer a question that you may be having some trouble with. Maybe it's something around, I don't know, whatever. I can't. I'm not going to try to put any kind of label on it. All I'm going to say is, whatever it is that you're going through, you can very much grant and understand that the universe knows all about it and has and will give you answers if you will just be studious in hearing what's being said. So here's an opportunity. If you can believe it, then you can receive it. If not, then you will not either. So it's totally up to you. So we always do this. We give the answer wheel a go. Sometimes it hits something. It slows it down. I don't mind because it makes it go that much faster. So what happens is that the answer wheel will go around. We have 6 answers. Yes, maybe, definitely, no way. Try again and ask a friend. And so what we do is we allow the universe to control the answer and where the ball stops. I don't do anything but just sit here where it says where it's going to go. And today's answer looks like it's going to go right in the middle. Yeah. Again, it doesn't happen that often. It really doesn't. So let's try it. Let's give it a little shove again and see what happens. So, yeah, let's do it again. And it moves. Again, it has 6 answers. And those 6 answers will, if you can believe, will be the answer that you're looking for. One of these 6 answers, wherever it stops. I don't know where it's going to stop because I don't control it. But it goes and it goes and it goes. And tonight, the answer is definitely. 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 Whatever that is that you're wondering about, the universe is saying definitely. Definitely, definitely, definitely. That definitely could mean, a move, promotion, a change in how your life is going and the direction it's been going in. It can mean a lot of different things. Let's get some of the light if we can. So definitely, the universe is saying definitely. And what that definitely means, you're on the right track. You're on the right track. And moving on that right track is very, very important to your life changing. And there being definitely some things that you're looking for to do, to become, or what have you. Definitely, the universe is saying. So embrace it. Embrace it as not only a yes, but a very, very strong, without a doubt kind of yes. So, yeah, I'm happy for that, for your life. Definitely. That's a good one to have. But yeah, so we're gonna move on and talk about some things that I think we're seeing that's trending tremendously. Now we're gonna approach it. We're gonna approach it from a different angle. because the bottom line is our intent is to look at things from a different perspective than a lot of the other folks do that are out there in the social media. Well, if I was going to say anything about this particular topic, is that Andrew Wiggins and Jordan Poole got finessed. They got finessed. And it happens. It happens to folks. And I'm gonna explain why and how and something that we need to do about it. And he's not the only, these guys aren't the only ones. But it comes as a result of a lot of things. Now, one of the things that we can say that it can happen to people that are young, and it can happen to people that are very naive as to their life in development. We talk about masculinity development all the time, and we talk about that there are 3 levels or 3 stages of masculinity development. That's a boy, a male, and a man. And at each level, there are 8 elements that we always focus on, because these eight elements give us a look at what are some of the things that we need to be doing as we are growing to enhance the way that we are living our lives. And what happens with these 8 elements is that they help us to change. They help us to mature. They help us to do the things that we need to do to move to another place, another level in our lives. You know, I've talked about these 8 elements time and time again, and you know, I have other videos where I go more in depth. But these 8 elements are chronology or chronological, physiological, emotional, cognitive, psychological, philosophical, mental, and intellectual. These areas have to be developed in every individual before they can move to the next stage of development. Then when they move to the next stage, they go through the same 8 elements on a different level to move from that level of or stage of development to the next, which is the third, which would be manhood. Now, here's the thing. So often we have young people, especially young people in this day and age, who are reared in single family homes. It's definitely a problem because especially athletes don't get the masculine or the masculinity development necessary, which only a father can really rightly take you through. And when a father, and the reason why that is because you are the image of your father, and your father should have the most value to establish in and through you. So a father is the place where a son gains and understands how he is to matriculate from boyhood to malehood to manhood to manhood. Now, the processes or the 8 elements change as they matriculate and get older, but those same elements are still in play until the father still plays a role. Now, when a boy is raised in a single family home, he lacks the masculinity development that he needs, and as a result of that, he becomes less masculine, and he becomes more like that which reared him, which is a feminine or femininity-minded individual, or he becomes he doesn't even really reach manhood. He reaches what we call, he may become an alpha male. Okay, he may become a beta male. He may become an omega male. I'll talk about all of these in other videos. But the bottom line is he doesn't reach manhood because he lacks the ability to fully reach it because his manhood is locked in his father. The release of his manhood, true manhood, and full manhood is locked into his father. It becomes important for us to have a relationship with our fathers, males. It's important that you have a relationship with your father. No matter how much your mother invested in you and raised you and took you to AAU and did all those things with you, even with that, she's still just a woman. She's not masculine. She can help you by putting you in the company of men, and they can help you definitely, and they will help you, coaches and things of that nature. But you got to be careful with that because not all of them are men either. But even if your son is not going to be all he's going to be, do you want him to grow up being like a coach? Do you want him to be like your father? Do you want him to be like your husband? Or you want him to be like his father? I say this, even though you say that he had a bad father, a lot of times I find out that it wasn't as bad as they make it out to be. We hear the same things, DV, drinking and drugs, et cetera, et cetera. And nothing is ever the fault of the mother. But I dare say it takes two to tango, always has and always will. And so it's just not 100% one person. It's a contribution of both. And so when we have young boys that graduate from high school and go to college, and they lack the development meant in the 8 areas that we talked about, they become targets, especially if they're athletes, and they're going to become millionaires. And these girls or females will do anything, and I do mean anything, to get pregnant or to get a piece of that individual. Now, what these young men have to understand is being finessed by females is something that happens to many, many guys. And it's because of the way that the universe or the creator has created the female mind. She is intelligent. She is strategic. And her strategic mind is for a reason. She may use it to better herself or to try to better herself. But the truth of the matter is, it's supposed to be for her family. But anyway, back to the guys. Because that's what we do here on the Masculinity Man Cave. It's about us beginning to mature and to develop. Now, when we look at some of these young men, Andrew Wiggins, his situation, I don't know. It seems to be rumored that he was finessed by his 10-year relationship with a young lady who supposedly they had 2 children by, and it looks like that one or both of the children may not be his, but his best friends. So here's what we need to understand, that none of these people are developed mentally in the 8 areas, cognitively, emotionally, in none of the areas that we talked about as far as the 8 elements. And they're not the only ones. All that they are examples of what many people are. Many people are examples and living a life where they lack the development. And people, what you have to understand is in the development of a female, one of the things that she's going to learn how to do at a very young age is survive. She wants to survive because one of the keys for her is safety, right? Safety and survival. And that is not a bad thing. So we can't blame females for wanting to make sure they survive. And the way that they survive is they use what they have. It's not muscle, right? But what they do is they have a physicality about themselves, a physique about themselves, their body, that allows them to use that and to weaponize it. Okay, just like a male weaponizes his muscles. And in the case of Andrew Wiggins, he weaponized his athleticism, his height, his ability to play a game, and he was able to leverage it to become a millionaire playing basketball. And so, okay, he got finessed. He got finessed by a female. Well, who's to blame? Well, no one's to blame. It's a result of a lack of development on both people's part and his best friend, because that's not what best friends do. Best friends don't go behind the back of their friend and have a relationship with his girlfriend. You get your own. You get your own. But some folks want to imitate and want to live the life of others, and so they do try to enter into the lives of others vicariously in things that they do. So that may be very well be the situation with Andrew Wiggins' best friend. I would probably think so, because he's probably not nowhere near as famous or rich as Andrew Wiggins. But evidently, we've got to understand that our sons, gentlemen, our sons need us. They need you in their lives. I don't care what's happened in the past. I don't care what the past looks like. The past is the past. It can't be changed. What we have to do now is we have to go from where we are and move forward. And the way that we move forward is that we learn to forgive, because you're going to need forgiveness in your life as well. So we've got to learn to forgive and move forward. Move forward beyond the certain things that have happened, because everyone in life has experienced something. All of us have. So it's not a situation where you're going to go and through life unscathed. You're not. We're all going to experience some kind of trauma. I talk with my patients a lot about trauma and the weight of trauma and how trauma does affect us as we live and go through life. And if we don't make peace with that trauma, it will continue to rear its ugly head and continue to affect us in some shape, form, or fashion. And normally these traumas occur at very young ages, and it happens normally when you're young, and most of it happens with our family, people close to our family, or people, our friends. So it's people that know us that these traumas come from. So it becomes important to understand that no one's to fault per se, but what we need to do is we need to learn and we need to develop. Okay, I'm a firm believer that blood tests at birth should be mandatory. I think it's only fair. It has nothing to do with anything other than to ensure parenthood of the child, for the child's safety and for the child's provision. So it's important that and it's the fair thing to do for both involved, because if a female has had multiple partners, you don't really know who the father is. If she has a high body count, where she's had relationships with a high number of individuals, then chances decrease that the child could be yours. But if she has a low body count or no body count, then we know who's the father. And that's the way it is. It's just a matter of arithmetic, really. It's not rocket science. It's just a matter of arithmetic. If there's nobody there, then there's only one person that it could possibly be. But if there's a lot of people there, then there's a multitude of people that it could be. And I get it, because sometimes it could be shameful. It could be embarrassing for a young lady to admit that she's had multiple relationships, because every young lady knows multiple relationships bring shame on her, which is why she doesn't stand up and take accountability for it, because she knows it's a shameful thing for her to have a large body count. Now, from a masculine standpoint, by virtue of the fact that Men were used and are still used to repopulate, and they have in the past had multiple relationships to spread seed and to create legacy. Um, Women don't create legacy; they help build legacy, but the men are the ones who uh, cause legacy to come in to fruition. I know some folks are not going to like that, but the bottom line is it's science. It really is just basic biological science, biology. Okay, so when we look at these young people that are rich, have a lot of money, have a lot of influence and access, um, some people will do anything to get involved with that, to have a piece of that, and they will use by whatever means necessary to gain a piece of that. If that means ruining your relationship, they'll do it. If it means getting pregnant by someone else and blaming it on you, they'll do it. If it means whatever. I mean, there's a lot of things that can take place. So, what do we have to do? Um, as men, we have to encourage our young men to take safety precautions if they're going to be sexually active, and really um, encourage that, because even though we can encourage, it doesn't mean that they're going to do it, but we can only encourage and understand that not all of them will, and as a result of that, they have to be aware of the possibilities and the consequences of that, and be willing to step up to the plate when that occurs. In years and decades going by, that meant you had to marry her. You had to marry her, and you had to. They would call it. You had to make her a respectable woman. It's not a respectable woman. You need to give that child your name. You need to give that child your name. It's about your legacy. It's about that child, and then secondly, her. Now the thing is, if you're not willing to do that, then what you need to understand is that what you sow, you're going to reap. What you sow, you're going to reap. If you're not treating her correctly, you're not treating her right, that's going to come back to bite you. Okay? Because a scorned woman is something else to behold, and women don't get scorned; females do. So, know the difference between a girl, female, and a woman. There's a difference in maturity, in development, in those 8 areas. Anyway, so it's important that we understand that, gentlemen, we've got to let our boys know that they've got to be careful. And if they're going to uh, start a family, you need to be able to first do some investigating and ask the tough questions that's necessary. Many times we go by our passion in our pants, right? And so we once we do that, we lose we lose sight of logic, and it becomes physical. And once it becomes physical, that can equate to some problems down the line. The physical will always be there; it's not going anywhere. But the best thing is, after the act, to be able to say that this is someone that you're willing to be with and spend time with and spend your life with. And if that's not the case, then you have to learn to control those urges, and do whatever else that you need to do to be able to do that. Um, so that's totally up to you. I don't put any judgment on anyone. You have to go ahead and do what you have to do to secure your future, gentlemen. And that's not, um, you know, I'm not judging anything that you would do, as long as you're not hurting yourself and or others in the process. If you're not hurting someone and endangering their lives, then do what you have to do. Okay. Um, so it's important for us to know that in a situation where we have a man who possibly was in a relationship and thought that the children was his, and they may not be, and then we see a lot of that on paternity court, divorce court, and all these other courts online and on television. But the bottom line is this: even though she may be pregnant by another man, well, another male, because that's not a man. A man stays and tends to his responsibilities. So it's not a man that would impregnate a woman or a female, because a woman would not allow that either. A woman's not going to get pregnant without first being married, and a man is not going to impregnate a woman without first being married. But males and females, they go at it, and as a result, they're looking for the other party to be more responsible than they were themselves. And as a result of that, the relationships start on a very rocky surface, and chances are they won't last. Now, and it's important for us to understand that relationship is just that. It's the ability to relate to one another. So it's the act of relating to one another. And you relate better with someone that you have more things in common, and you look at life through a similar paradigm, because no one looks through the same paradigm, through the same prism of life. So the more that you have in common, or can agree upon, the chances are that your relationship will have better chances of being sustainable. But if that's not the case, then rest assured that the physical attraction piece will run its course. It'll eventually lose its attractability, its sustainability, because no one stays the same. I don't care what she looks like, it's not going to stay the same, and neither are you. But here's what we understand as men: we understand that we don't have to be attractive. She has to be, and women understand that they have to maintain a level of attractiveness. She understands that, and she maintains that. That's a woman. It's a female that'll tell you to take her as she is, and that you're not a man, or you're not a real man because you don't want her and she weighs more than you do. You have standards and preferences just like she does, and it's nothing wrong with that. Okay, but you need to be upfront and maintain this, that they are what they are. Your standards are what they are. So when we start talking about Jordan Poole, I want to be brief about it, but it says that supposedly, again rumored, that Jordan Poole, who plays guard for the Golden State Warriors, I think he signed a contract somewhere in the neighborhood of $200 million, I think, and he. He has parents. I don't know what the living situation is. I know the things that I've seen online, his mother is always placed first. And, in most other families of other cultures, the man is first, and then the mother, and then this. But when it's the black family or people of color, we have a tendency to see the woman first, which is, I believe, the incorrect order. The man is supposed to be first. And in what I've seen online about Jordan Poole's parents, it seems like, I'm not sure if they're together or not. But my guess is, like most, they probably are not. And if they are, the man is not a man. He's a male, and he's not bringing up his child the way that he should go because of what his son is doing. A son will follow his father as long as his father is in his life. Tiger Woods is a good example of that. Tiger Woods didn't start acting up until his father passed. He lost his father's leadership and guidance and relationship. And when a son loses that, and it may be his father didn't develop him in the way that he should in order for him to be able to make some of the decisions that he needed to make for himself. Maybe his dad had too much control in his life. I don't know. But the bottom line is, if a father prepares his son will be able to make the right decisions, more balanced decisions concerning his life. Now, we can pretty much guess that Jordan Poole's father was not the kind of man that directed his son in the way that he should go, and this is why. Jordan Poole supposedly has taken a young lady out on the first date. Okay, on the first date, and spent $500,000 on her for the first date. Now, that may be for him to set himself up for other ladies. He may be finessing the finesser. He may be doing that in order for him to bait bigger fish, more delectable fish, if you would, more desirable fish, if you would. Or he may just be a young man that doesn't know what he's doing with his money. And that can happen as well. Either way, gentlemen, a first date is just that, a first date. A first date should not be something that's going to cost $500,000. I don't care how much money you make. $500,000 date, first date, is setting you up for failure, because now you have to maintain that whenever you take a young lady out, because especially when you're popular and you're famous and you're rich, now they're all going to be looking for a $500,000 first date. They're going to all be looking for that. And if that's what you want them to be looking for, so that you can have a whole lot of relationships, you're going to lose in the long run, because you're going to eventually get one of them pregnant. You're going to get one of them pregnant. And once that happens, she's got you for 18 years. As Kanye said, 18 years. And on the 18th birthday, you find out he wasn't. He is. So, it's up to you. But a first date should be a place of mutual agreement. It shouldn't be costly. It shouldn't be relationship oriented. It should be just people getting acquainted. It's not even really a date. It's like a meeting. If you hold it like a meeting rather than a date, maybe your expectations and the way you do things and your outcomes will be different. So rather than looking for a date, go on a meeting. Go on a meeting, acquaintance meeting, or something to that effect, where you're not putting a whole lot of financial or finances out, or your time. It shouldn't be. See, your most valuable commodity is not your money; it's your time. So yeah, you can lose the money and get it back, but can you get that time back that you spent? No, you can't. That time is forever gone. So you have to understand that first date should be a short date. It should be something that should be inexpensive, and should be something that should be pretty public. And you should be able to determine whether this is somebody by, it's an interview. It's a job interview. It's a job interview. It's a meeting. And that's all it is. And so you're getting acquainted. And you want to see if you want to continue to get acquainted. But once you decide whether you want to get acquainted or not, you have to be man enough to stand by your convictions. If that individual is not the person that you're looking for, it's time to move on. It's time to move on. For her and for you. Okay? Because understand this. Females determine sex. Because if they didn't, if you violate it, you can go to jail for that. So sex, she determines who she's going to have sex with. But a man determines who he's going to have a relationship with, who he's going to marry. That's why a man gets on his knee, not a woman. These young people where females are getting on their knees, those things will never work. Those relationships will never be sustainable. Never, because a man determines relationship. A man gets on his knee. A man carries her across the threshold. That's important, guys. It's important that you carry her across the threshold. Why? Because it's a sight and symbol and a physical manifestation that you're saying that you will carry her through life. You will tend to her through life. You will care for her through life. You carrying her across the threshold is a manly act. But we see females carrying these males across the threshold. They're trying to take your position. You should never allow that. Never. Whenever she steps out of her position, you that's a red flag, young man. That's a red flag. When she does that, you're supposed to check it. And if she has issues with you checking it, then she's not the right one. You need to move on quickly. But you never go that much in spending for anyone. Not for no date. That's crazy. That is simply crazy. That's not fiscal responsible. That's not masculinity responsible. It's just wrong in so many different areas. If it's true, because again, it's rumored. But I mean, there are still males out there that are spending exorbitant amounts on first dates to try to prove something. No. You don't let someone use you for a meal. You don't let someone use you for feeding their kids and taking care of their child care. No. Not until we determine whether we're proceeding on. Then we'll have that conversation. But until then, no, we don't do that. See, I get I do all kinds of things to see where people are. I send out memes, and to some people they may think that they're inappropriate, but I want to see what the response is going to be. I want to see what happens as a result. You'll be surprised. You'll be surprised. And to you young men, if you need a mentor, someone that will help you, I'm here for you. You see my email scrolling underneath the page. Email me. We can talk. We can arrange some time. I've had mentors. I still have mentors. And it's important to have them in your life. If your father's not around. But if your father's around, you need to get with your dad. I don't care what the past was. You need to get with your dad, your father. The one that birthed this is the reason for you here. You need to get with him. Not your mother, your father. Okay? Well, I think that's enough for this particular session. Wasn't as long as I thought it was going to be, but it is something that I think that is very, very powerful, and for us to understand and to delve into. So this is a very important topic and subject that needed to be handled. Well, I appreciate you coming and being a part of this session, and I really appreciate you coming into the Red Hot Mic. So until the next time we come together, this is G. Alfred Palmer saying we're out.